Hey there, you guys. I hope y'all have an amazing day. I am the Ace of Games. On this channel, I open up Yu-Gi-Oh!, Buddy Fight, Vanguard, Beyblade, Digimon, the Dragon Ball Super card game, and Pokemon. And so for today's video, I'm gonna be talking about which is the best driver for Burst Spriggan here. So I've got four different drivers here. I've got the Quattro driver, although I'm probably gonna change it out for the Dash one. I just grabbed the normal one. Then got the Fusion Dash, which came with Burst Spriggan, Zeta Dash, and then Unite Dash. So these are all four drivers that have come on like different versions of Spriggan. So I just want to figure out which one is really the best one for it. Whether it's going to be the Fusion driver, which has worked pretty well, the Zeta driver, which is the first driver that incorporated that had all three different modes. The Unite driver, or the Quattro driver, which is basically just the even better version of the Zeta driver. So yeah, so I'm gonna go through all these different drivers to see which one is best by using them in battles to see which one kind of gets Spriggan the most amount of wins, and I'll just be leaving Spriggan and I'll be switching between left and right spin, so that way we know exactly how well each driver handles with both. So I'm gonna do test battles with each driver to see which one is the best one for Spriggan and all that. So I'm gonna go grab the stadium and we're gonna test out each drivers. So for the first driver, we're gonna be testing out the Fusion Dash driver. So this totally was the driver that came on the very first Spriggan before Storm Spriggan. And it is the one that got released with this, so kind of already know. But we're gonna just go ahead, do a test launch in right spin and then left spin, and then do a battle between each. So first a test launch with the right spin, and then a test battle. So we're gonna see how the driver works well. So it is really effective in allowing for it to spin, but it does spin around a lot more as if it's an attack type, but then moves to the center to be more defensive. So yeah, so now the driver just kind of leaves it in the center. And so now for the test battle, just going to test against Barricade Lucifer. So 3, 2, 1. And now we're going to have Spriggan be launched first. So 3, 2, 1. And Spriggan wins that. So now we're going to switch it over to left spin to see how well it handles whenever Spriggan is spinning counterclockwise. And I'm not putting Spriggan in high mode. I don't really use high mode all that much. And so we now have Spriggan in left spin mode. So now we're going to see how well the driver works while Spriggan is in left spin. So yeah, so it pretty much does the same thing while it's in left spin. So now it's time for a test battle. Barricade Lucifer takes that one. And Barricade Lucifer takes that one again. So it definitely seems like the fusion driver is more effective whenever Spriggan is in right spin mode. So now it's time for the next driver test. And so for the next driver we have the Unite driver. So this was the second driver which technically came on Storm Spriggan. This is the dashed version that comes with World Spriggan. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it out on Spriggan. And I decide to leave it in left spin mode. So we're gonna try it on left spin, kind of alternate. Once it'll be like starting in right or starting in left. So let's go ahead and give it a test spin. 3, 2, 1. So yeah, so the Unite driver allows us to be a bit more aggressive than the Fusion driver, but also the Unite driver can just kind of stay in the center, being more defensive. And then yeah, so it's got really good spin. So now it's time for a test battle. And Barricade Lucifer takes that one. And Barricade Lucifer takes that one again. So now it's time to switch it over to right spin. So far, the Fusion and Unite driver, my brain decided to forget the name of the driver for a moment, is not being very effective in left spin mode. But we'll see how the Unite driver does when it's in right, while Spriggan's in right spin. So first a quick test launch. And so yeah, so just like in left spin, pretty much kind of goes all around, can be attackive or have more defensive. And so now time for a battle. And Spriggan takes that one. And Barricade takes that one because it did spin a bit longer. So yeah, so far the Fusion driver works much better so far because it was able to win 2 out of 4 matches, whereas the Unite driver was only able to win 1 out of 4 matches. So yeah, so now it's time for the next driver. And so for the next driver we have the Zeta Dash driver. So this was the first driver that allowed for you to switch between 3 different modes. You had the stamina, attack, and then defensive mode. So this first came on Spriggan Requiem, and this DAS version came from the Cho Z Spriggan. So yeah, so we're gonna start. So I'll be switching between all 3 modes. So first it'll be 3 test launches with all 3 different drivers. So let's see how the test launch goes. So yeah, so with the stamina driver, it does kind of act like the same as the fusion driver, kind of spinning around a bit more and then just resting up in the center. And there we go, just starts resting in the center. And then the next one is the attack driver. And then finally the defense driver. Yep. Well, that kind of failed, so I'm gonna try that one more time. There we go. So yeah, so all 3 of these drivers definitely seem to, well, then again, every driver pretty much takes their time to get to the center. And then there we go, it starts resting in the center. And so now it's time for some test battles. So I'm gonna try and do two different modes like this, and two modes in left spin. So two different modes in right spin, then one of the ones will be different in left spin, but it'll pretty much go back to the same. So I'll leave the start and the end as the defense. So let's see how these battles go. Alright then, so Spriggan takes the first point. Now we're going to switch it over to the stamina tip. And Spriggan takes that. So now to switch it over to left spin. So far the Zeta driver is doing as well as the fusion driver. Seeing as how it has two wins, but let's see how it handles when it's in left spin, because this seems to be like the main area where the first 2 drivers had some trouble. And now it's time for the attack driver. And Barricade Lucifer takes that. So now it's time to switch it back to defense mode to see how well it does with in the final round. So it seems to be so far it's tied with the fusion driver. But maybe this will upset it. And Barricade Lucifer takes that one. So that means the Zeta driver is now tied with the fusion driver. So yeah, so the 3 modes was pretty nice, but wasn't entirely able to help it win. So now it's time for the next and final driver. So for the final driver, we have the Quattro Dash driver. I did find the Dash one because I figured it'd be better. So this is basically the evolution of the Zeta driver in the fact that it has a balance tip, stamina, attack, and then defense. So it has all 4 of these drivers in one, which means it's quite handy. So we're going to start off in defense, and this is the final driver test to see. We're going to have it in left spin. So yeah, so we're going to see how it goes. And I did just realize that I forgot to do some test launches with the in left spin, but it's fine. I'll just, because with these ones, it's pretty much just gonna, from the first 2 drivers, it's pretty much the same, just the opposite. So I'm just gonna leave these 4 test launches in left spin mode, and then just move on to the battles. So yeah, so with the defensive driver, it just immediately kept in the center. With the metal ball, it kind of stays there more. And so now then switching over to the attack driver, if I can get it to work. There we go. So yeah, so with the attack driver, just gonna go flying around a lot more. The only bad thing is that you have to kind of take the driver off and lift the sides to kind of change it. So now we got the stamina. And so yeah, so with this one, it's also staying more in the center. And then finally it's the balance driver. So this one, so instead of just having attack, defense, and stamina, it actually has a balance mode, which can be quite handy because just in case you don't want to go primarily with attack or defense or stamina, you can have all 3. And so yeah, so launching it like that, it's kind of staying more in the center. So yeah, so I'm gonna for the first one, I'm gonna start out in defensive mode for the first match. So let's see if the Quattro driver is the one that'll win it all and be the best driver for Burst Spriggan. So far, it's putting up a really good fight. Although I think Barricade Lucifer might win it because it's got the bearing driver. Yep, and Barricade Lucifer takes the first point. So now then to switch it over, we're going to go with the attack driver. Although now Spriggan is being launched first, so that means it's gonna be at a disadvantage. And Spriggan actually I'm gonna do that one more time because it did look like Spriggan took it, but Barricade did kind of spin it a little bit more. So I'm gonna do that one more. So I'm gonna do that battle one more time just to make sure. Get both on the launcher already, which is what I probably should have already been doing, but. Dang, and Spriggan just already burned through all of its stamina. Oh, but it looked like it kind of made a comeback. Just because I didn't know, since I did an extra round with that, I'm going to give it a half point, because it did look like it won the first one. But so I'm just going to give it a half point. So it's got 1.5 points. Doesn't entirely make sense, but I'm just kind of going with that. And so now it's time for right spin, which seems to be where where all the drivers work the best. And it's going to be with the stamina driver. And now, since Spriggan took that, so now it's time for the final match with the balance driver. As I'm grabbing the left spin driver, not the right spin. Well, Barricade Lucifer takes that one. So all in all, it definitely seems like these three are the most effective drivers. I would definitely say these ones are more suited for right spin than left spin, and I'd say that Quattro works really good with in both right and left spin. The Zeta driver sadly just failed. Maybe it was like using the wrong modes and all that. But so yeah, so for the final result, I would definitely have to say these three are the best drivers, because they did earn the most amount of points in victories. So yeah, so I would definitely say, like, if you only want to use Spriggan and right spin, I would definitely say go for these two. But also the Quattro driver works really well. Does work really well with both. So it also is kind of like the Z driver. I guess it all depends on like which mode you use. But yeah, so all in all, this is really cool to kind of see. These three are the main ones. Zeta driver it failed. But yeah, so hopefully all of you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and be sure to ring the bell so that you can be notified of all my new videos. And I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching.